Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing some fun games with Wolverine in the Color Cup. Wolverine's a pretty underrated pick in this cup because it does very well against Tropius, Zapdos, Trevenant, of course Swampert, Abomasnow. So it's kind of like that ice type, which obviously Abomasnow kind of fills that role, but it actually beats Abomasnow, and you can get off Earthquakes against the Toxapex. So in the Toxapex matchup, if you're able to beat it at least once or twice, you can potentially get off the Earthquake and flip that matchup. And just really quickly before we get into all of the commentary and battles, I want you to subscribe to the channel really quickly. Just go down below, hit that red button, it is absolutely free and helps me out a lot. And as a result, you will get Pokemon Go videos that you like in your sub box every single day. It's a win-win for everybody. Just quickly go and do that for me, I would very much appreciate it. Anyway guys, let's hop into these battles, and I do want you to let me know in the comments down below, how have you been finding the Color Cup so far? And do you have any teams that you've been enjoying using? My favourite team has been so far Ampharos in the lead with Toxapex and a Trevenant in the back, and we're in this interesting matchup right here with the Zapdos. We're going to get to the brine. The opponent wants to go for the Thundershock down, but they're not going to be able to do so, and at this point they're up to a ton of energy. They're almost up to the back-to-back, so I come in and snipe. The opponent was up to almost 2 moves, but they had to make a decision there really quickly on what move to throw, and in that time we're able to get through 2 Shadow Claws and take out the Zapdos. Now in comes the Toxapex. We're going to go for a big Shadow Ball on this thing, which will do a decent amount of damage, but as you guys have seen if you played this cup, Toxapex simply does not care. He will eat Shadow Balls all day long, and the opponent should be able to get a move off here. I'm happy enough because the opponent's expending their energy, and it takes them quite some time to get to the Sludge Waves and Brines. We're going to come in with Walrein, and in the Zero Shield scenario, this is where Walrein really shines against Toxapex. We can get off this big Earthquake, which will do a ton of damage, and I think if the opponent is in full health, they can live this Earthquake. That just goes to show how tanky Toxapex is, but we do outpace, and we'll take them out with the Earthquake. So it is really nice. You have some coverage against both Toxapex and Trevenant with Walrein, and of course you deal with all of the flyers. The biggest problem for this team is definitely electric types, but things like Ampharos and Togedemaru and stuff like that, they tend to be a little bit softer. You know, they're not the bulkiest Pokemon. So Walrein, you can often go for like a chip and dip with those Pokemon. Now we're in this matchup here against Graveler. Graveler's a really funny pick. It's quite a nice one actually. Of course it will just die against all of the grass types with the rock typing, but definitely a very interesting pick for this cup. I actually overcommit to this matchup a little bit, and I ended up throwing on alignment here as well. So we're sort of committed. We're going to go for both shields, and I think the opponent does not want to expend another shield, so they do swap out to Abomasnow. Once again, this is where Walrein is very, very good. This will do neutral damage because of the joint grass typing, and if we were to throw another one of those, it would get that deep into the red. But what I decide to do here is come in with Toxapex. I want to get a huge farm down. As you've seen before, Toxapex does not care about energy balls. We can eat 2 of those comfortably, but we do actually just get the full farm down, which is fantastic here. The opponent can't really come in with the Graveler, and they end up coming in with Venusaur. Now I think this would have been a good baiting opportunity. I do decide just to full send the Sludge Wave just to guarantee the shield, or guarantee a ton of damage. I'm pretty happy with this because the Venusaur is going to be forced to throw energy. We do have to stay in here because the timer's not up yet, but the Venusaur has to throw this move, and at this point I know that I'm just one off a move on the Walrein. We're waiting the timer down, and we're just going to come in and go straight for the Icicle Spear on the Venusaur. The Venusaur does have a decent amount of energy, so I'm kind of happy just to get this move off and get it into the red here. Again, Venusaur is a bit of a funny matchup. If you can get it in the proper scenarios. Of course, Frenzy Plants just do a ton of damage, but if you can land those Icicle Spears, they do a lot of damage to the Venusaur. The opponent swaps out. I believe they banked a move. We go straight for the Seed Bomb on that thing, and we're going to farm it down with the Trevenant. Even if they had thrown their move, it would not have been enough to take us out there, and very good games to the opponent. Venusaur is a very fun pick here for the cup. Of course, it has the poison coverage as well, and yeah, it could be a very interesting Pokemon for this meta. But hopping into the next one, guys, let's see what we can do here. We've got a Registeel lead, so I actually hop into the Open Great League for some reason. Let me know if you guys have done that at least once this week already. I've actually done that twice already. I done it with a Ninetales team that I'm going to be running for the video later on today, and I actually managed to win the one later on today, but I did not win that one. So back into the Color Cup we go, and we've got a Galvantula lead. Now we can threaten a lot of damage with Icicle Spears. Galvantula, it does a lot of damage, but it is very, very soft, and these Icicle Spears will do a ton of damage. So I'm happy enough at this point. I can throw off a move or 2 and potentially switch out here. We'll see if we can maybe hop into the... Yeah, we'll actually just farm up a little bit more. Go for an Icicle Spear. And I'm most likely going to hop into Trevenant here. Yeah, so the opponent lets that go and we hop into Trevenant. So we're hoping this is a discharge. If it is a lunge, we're going to get debuffed and do a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. Maybe the opponent was anticipating that. But we do get the full farm down, which is perfect. And we've got a Shadow Ball loaded. So even though we're debuffed, we've got a Shadow Ball loaded, and we can do a lot of damage on this Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is such an annoying Pokemon to deal with in this meta, actually, because of the joint steel typing. I think it could be worth running potentially. And at this point I decide, okay, I'm going to be able to get off at least one more Shadow Ball, so I'm going to go for it, and the opponent goes for the catch. In comes the Toxapex, and you know, I'm happy enough to get this damage off on the Toxapex anyway. I think I'll come into the Walrein and see if I can get myself up to the Earthquake just before they take us out. Yeah, so the opponent is forced to throw, and unfortunately with the misaligned timers, I was not able to get that off. We're going to go in with Trevenant once more, and to go for a Seed Bomb just to chip it down. So at this point my plan is, okay, chip it down with the Trevenant, and we've reset the debuff, which is nice, and we're going to farm all the way down with Toxapex right here. Hopefully we can live a move on the Galvantula, and we can basically take it out with probably a Brine at this point on the Galvantula. So we're just going to farm up and completely farm this thing down. This thing does not do a lot of damage against us, and we'll come out of the other side with a move. The opponent comes, or sorry, it's Ferrothorn. The opponent comes in with Ferrothorn, and we're going to throw off the Sludge Wave. Does a decent amount of damage, but we're going to need at least one more. Now here's the question: is the opponent running the recommended moveset? No, they're running Thunder. But we actually might be able to still do this. We're farming up a little bit extra. I actually didn't even need to farm up a little bit extra here because the opponent's Toxapex is very low. We take it out, which is fantastic. And can we just about get this farm down? We literally live that on 1 HP. So that's sensational. Very, very happy to win that one right there, and it got very, very close. The matches in this cup do get very close, and as I said earlier, I get hard-walled a lot of the times, or I will hard-wall the opponent. But yeah, a lot of the matchups do get very, very dicey at the end, and GG's to the opponent. So let's hop into this next one here, let's see what we can do. So we've won 3 out of 3 in the Color Cup so far with this team, and we've got an Alolan Marowak. This is a funny matchup, it does neutral damage, and of course the Earthquake would more or less one-shot the thing. So at this point, I'm happy enough to let this go. The opponent does throw a Shadow Bone right here, interestingly, and we're going to go for the Icicle Spear bait. Hopefully the opponent will shield this up, and we will be able to land an Earthquake on the Marowak. Our health is getting a little bit low, but we should just be able to get it. The opponent throws off their move, and I'm happy enough to shield this up at this point. We're going 1 shield each. I'll either take out the Marowak or get a shield advantage, either of which would be absolutely fine. We can come in and go for a farm down, and I'll be happy enough to take that. The opponent lets it go, and they actually swap out into their Ferrothorn. Again, I'm happy enough to get off another Icicle Spear. We'll do neutral damage on this thing with the joint Steel and Grass typing, and that does a nice little chip for us. We come in with the Trevenant here, and the opponent already has some loaded energy, so even though these Power Whips are resisted, they are going to do a decent amount of damage here, as you can see. The opponent's got us almost down to half health, and I can't really afford to eat another one. I need to get off some damage on this thing to make it a little bit more comfortable for Toxapex. So what I decide to do is go for a Seed Bomb bait right here. I think this is the correct play, because the opponent will want to preserve this Ferrothorn as much as possible. They shield it up, and we actually just go for this straight away. I threw it straight away on bad timing, because I wasn't sure if the opponent was at another move. The opponent eventually does get to another move, and this Power Whip should take us down. However, this leaves us in a much more comfortable position here with the Toxapex. It actually just about doesn't take out, and in comes the Pelipper. So we'll bring in the Toxapex right here, and this is a very comfortable matchup right here. We've got the Sludge Wave, which will basically one-shot it. Now Hurricane will do a decent amount of damage. Let's have a look and see how much damage this does. It doesn't do much because it's a Blizzard, and we're going to farm up a little bit extra here, just to make sure that we can get off a move against the Ferrothorn if we need to. So this is looking pretty okay at this point. I've done the extra farm, we actually just farmed down the Marowak, and back in comes the Ferrothorn. We do get off the Brine before they reach the move, and that's a good game to the opponent right there. So definitely getting a little bit close in the end. I've found that some of these matches do end up getting close. My overall experience of this cup, though, to be fair, is I'll either hard-wall the opponent or get hard-walled, and we go 4-0 in the Color Cup in this set. Of course, we went into the Great League, and I just got hard-countered. The opponent had Registeel, Sableye, and Charizard, just the anti-me team, basically, and we've got a nice little Axew here as a reward. So to be completely honest with you, what happened next is I went 1-4. Just to be completely transparent about everything, this team is double weak to Electric, so you might want to consider that when you're making a team of this. I do believe Wolverine is quite good, but it is double weak, so it's definitely worth taking into consideration, and I was just getting pretty hard countered in some of the losses here. But in this matchup right here, it's an interesting one, and we do reach these Icicle Spears before the opponent reaches the Energy Ball, and the opponent are up to an Energy Ball here, so we'll see what they want to do. I make a savage call here. I'm like, you know what, if you want to Energy Ball me, go for it. The opponent goes for the Will-O-Wisp bait, and we'll actually throw off another Icicle Spear, see what the opponent wants to do. I think I could switch out here at this point, and we do. We catch it on the Toxapex. The opponent has no reason to bait anymore, and yeah, you know, it does a lot of damage, but I'm happy enough with that at that point. The opponent comes in with Lantern, and I do believe I can survive this, so I'm happy enough just to let this go. It is a Thunderbolt, and no, we actually don't survive it, unfortunately, but the opponent's expended all their energy. I'm going to farm up just a little bit extra here, just before the Thunderbolt. Again, you don't really want to eat anything on your Trevenant, if it's not necessary, but Lantern is a bulky boy and it does survive that. Again, you know, the Thunderbolt, it does an okay amount of damage, and we're just going to go for the full farm down, but we realize the opponent might get to the move here, and I decide to throw the Seed Bomb at the last second. Let's see what the opponent wants to come in with here. They could come in with a Bomb of Snow, which will do a lot of damage, and I realize that, so I swap straight out. In comes a Pelipper, and this is an interesting match. Of course, the Hurricanes would do a ton of damage, but I'm happy enough to shield up Weather Balls, because I kind of need to shield something at this point, and I'm happy enough just to take this to the 2 shield, and try to land an Icicle Spear on this thing. So the opponent, I'm very cognizant of the catch here as well, and the opponent is spamming off Weather Balls. I'm trying to throw in less obvious timing, but what a catch by the opponent. So I completely undercharge this, and go for an extra little bit of farm, and hopefully we can get this off. We do get off the Weather Ball on the, Icicle Spear. We get off the Icicle Spear on the Pelipper, which does a lot of damage. We come in with Trevenant here to go for the farm down. The opponent will reach a move, and as you've seen, like, this thing cannot eat a move. Can we farm this thing down? No, just about not. So it was definitely a rough one. It was just a little bit unfortunate there. We just about couldn't take that one. The opponent had 1 HP in a dream, and GG's to the opponent right there. As you've seen there, getting that electric typing is a little bit difficult for this team. Even with Trevenant, you know, the Seed Bomb doesn't take out the Lantern straight away, so it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. And, you know, honestly, like, Lantern might be worth using in this cup. If you do want to go for an electric typing, maybe Lantern's the way to go, because a lot of the electric types are already glassy anyway, and you can actually eat a grass move on Lantern, so it is an interesting one. Now, here we go, we've got this Trevenant matchup that I was talking about in the beginning. We shield up the first one. We're not going to throw on CMP, because the Trevenant will win that. This Icicle Spear will pretty much one-shot it, so the opponent's forced to shield. I'm happy enough just to overfarm a little bit here again, and we're going to throw up the second shield. We'll see if the opponent wants to let this go, and we're hopefully not going to get caught here, but we'll throw off this next Icicle Spear. The opponent lives, and at this point, what I decide to do is go into Trevenant, thinking that I can get there before they reach the Shadow Ball, and it is just the Seed Bomb, so happy enough to get that farm down. Actually, the opponent does swap out. We'll go for a Shadow Ball right here, which will do a decent amount of damage on the Tentacruel. Tentacruel's another interesting one that I want to run in this cup. This should just be an Acid Spray, which will more or less take us out. And yeah, we can come in with something else here and get the farm down. Probably Toxapex would be the most comfortable farm down. Yeah, so we come in and go for the full farm down. Will the opponent get the move? They do just about get the Acid Spray. So this is going to make this a little bit awkward, because the main thing that's good about this Pokemon is the bulk. So I just swap straight out here, because I just don't want to eat anything. We're going to go for the Earthquake on the Lantern, which is going to do an absolute ton of damage. Let's have a look at this Lantern. It gets about 80% of its health taken, and the opponent actually catches on Trevenant. So nice little catch right there. But yeah, the opponent, they might, yeah, they're going to go for the full farm down. Can we actually live a Thunderbolt? We should easily live it from this range. But the question is, can the opponent get to a second one? Because we will not live a second one. I decide to go straight for the Brine here, because the opponent is very low, and it does take it out, so GG's to the opponent right there. So Walrein is a pretty good Pokemon in this league. You have to build your team around it, because in my case, I wanted to go for like the 2 best All-Our Pokemon in the league. I built a lot of my teams around just Trevenant and Toxapex, because they're so broken. Walrein is quite good. It takes out all the flyers. It does okay against Trevenant in certain scenarios. If you can get off those Earthquakes against the Lanterns and the Toxapex, it can do a ton of damage. Overall, it has a decent amount of play in this meta, and I did enjoy using it. Everybody, just before you go, drop a like in the video, drop a sub on the channel. I'll be uploading a new video of Kanto Ninetales today, so definitely check that out later. Finally, we just started a new Discord community, so if you're interested in doing some battles with me, getting raid invites, adding new friends in the community and stuff like that, feel free to join up. Link in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you everybody, and have a fantastic rest of your day.